Okay, so I'm just giving an update on the syllabus for transparency. Um, Basically, have the layout of the first, sorry, we have the layout of the first course for beginners, Blockchain 101. So we start with definitions as like just as a textbook would usually have a list of definitions before you start getting into it. That way we can save a lot of time throughout the rest of the course, obviously, and get people used to the crypto jargon so that things make sense more easily. And then we have required disciplines for comprehension. In this case, it will be understanding the computer science behind distributed systems and the type of distributed system that Bitcoin's blockchain is compared to other distributed systems. And then we're going to have the cryptography. You're going to have to understand how cryptography works and why it's useful in computer science and communications. And then finally, you'll have the game theory and economics. And we don't have to understand all of the game theory and economics in the world. We just have to understand the principles that create basically more advanced types of game theory and economics. We just want to show people what the fundamentals are going to be like, and then from there they can extrapolate more concepts. Part 3 is going to be about Nakamoto consensus, and this is where we will use a lot of research from our team at Nervos because they have pushed the development and the advancement and the evolution of Nakamoto consensus. And they basically have put a lot of time and research and effort into giving an objective analysis of Nakamoto consensus and its superiority over other types of blockchain consensus. And then we're going to look at the cryptographic primitives of Bitcoin. So the SHA-256, proof of work, hashing, Merkle trees, and what's the other one? So you should just have it written down, but this is the overview. And then the elliptic curve digital signature algorithm. We're just going to go over all those and how they work together to generate or to secure and run Bitcoin's blockchain. And then as well as like, you know, the architecture of a blockchain. So you'll understand how the blocks are connected, what a block header is, how transactions are ordered, what a nonce is, and how basically how hard it is to crack cryptography. People need to grasp how hard it actually is to guess a private key, for example. So it's not impossible, but it's something that would just take, you know, theoretically like more than thousands and thousands of years to actually guess it right without any clues or without the without SHA-256 being actually broken. Then we're going to focus on the trilemma, and like I have expressed to people, this is supposed to be an unbiased course, right? I'm not promoting my point of view on the way things should be. I'm promoting and educating people on the way things are. So the trilemma isn't going to be necessarily about declaring whether the trilemma is a real problem or not, because a lot of people say there's no such thing as the trilemma. You actually can scale infinitely on layer one. And we're just going to look at all of that objectively and go over the history of how the trilemma problem actually shaped the crypto industry as we see it today. And it'll help people understand why we are where we are. And then we'll look at solutions that try to solve the trilemma. We'll look at multiple solutions. There's so many that it would take too much time to go over all of them, but we'll go over, we're going to go over some of the more popular ones, and we're just going to discuss the trade-offs. And that's going to be a recurring theme in our university. The idea that trade-offs are what's inevitable when you choose different designs and scaling options. So again, to be unbiased and objective, we have to accept or concede that there is no right or wrong solution in blockchain. All these different scaling strategies are actually just taking different trade-offs. And that's the real objective way to look at it. That's the factual way to look at things. And that's what we're going to offer. We're going to create the most intelligent blockchain. We're gonna create the most intelligent blockchain of enthusiasts and evangelists that the industry has ever seen. And that's the goal. So if we fall short of that goal, we will have failed. And it's a challenging thing, but the work that has gone into the research behind these courses is extensive. It's my personal independent research that has been, peer reviewed and tested in practice. So we really have a lot of the fundamentals in the background when it comes to source material for these courses. So it is going to be a superior product as far as I know, because I've taken many blockchain courses in the past. And while they can be useful at teaching you how blockchain works, I don't think they're very useful at teaching you how to think about blockchain. And that's what we're going to offer. Then proof of work versus proof of stake, just the major split besides the scaling wars was the type of consensus that would secure the network. And eventually people wanted to try proof of stake, which is that instead of burning energy and guessing a valid block through mining, through proof of work, we just take the token that's being emitted and use that to basically stake or sacrifice some sort of capital or cost to vote on which blocks are valid. So it is still very much like a voting game, like in proof of work. But again, there are just different trade-offs when you're not using energy intensive expenditures for voting, because we'll get into this in the course, obviously, but they do seek to accomplish the same goal, but there's just no energy involved, and you'll learn why that creates a trade-off instead of just this perfect solution that has no problems whatsoever. Then we'll go into novel mechanisms in crypto economics. So we'll look at interesting incentive designs in DeFi, for example. We'll look at different types of incentive structures, basically. Let's say burning, for example. Burning and proof of stake systems only came out a few years ago, so it's still relatively novel as an idea, and it changes the incentives of the blockchain very drastically. So we're going to look at these major industry changing patterns that we see, and there's quite a few of them. So we're going to try to pack as many relevant ones as we can into this part while trying to keep it short. And then part 7 is going to be mastering Nervos cryptoeconomics. And the reason that we have a specific section about a specific project or protocol is because this protocol is built off of the research of the first blockchain company in China, Cryptapes. And this is basically a new type of crypto economics that actually solves the growth explosion of state in blockchain while also solving the value capture mechanism and rent fees, as well as giving the token enough utility so that it can please all types of users or align incentives of all types of users. For example, the Nervos protocol has a staking DAO for your tokens so that it can offset the dilution from the block reward. So it actually has the same type of or same degree of scarcity as Bitcoin itself if you're using it as a store of value and you lock up the tokens. So it actually allows the network to stay scaled by having infinite block rewards or an infinite emission tail, while also preserving people's wealth by creating a shelter from dilution. So that's just one example of how the crypto economics are very interesting and are incentive compatible with all users. So we're going to look into it as a case study. And it's not to say that this is the right way to scale a blockchain or it isn't. It's just going to be an interesting case study on how you can tweak incentives to get people to basically work together and have mutually beneficial outcomes. Part 8 would be the exam on all this, and each section would have a quiz at the end of them, so 7 quizzes, 1 final exam, and I've been contemplating having a, depending on how it can scale, I wanted to have a verbal exam as well, because I would love to actually have each student in 5 minutes or less explain to me what the essence of this course is about, what crypto economics is about, and what blockchain is about in their own words. Not in my words, not in the course's words, but how they really think of it. So it's a subjective exam. There's no right or wrong on how you think, on what you think blockchain is, as long as you can actually back it up. If you just came in and said, like, blockchain is good or blockchain is a solution to many problems, that's not going to be an acceptable response. It's going to be about giving specifics. So as long as you give specifics, really like what it means to you is pretty subjective. It's more or less just to see if you know what you're talking about. But like I said, it might not even happen because it's a difficult thing to do at scale. But if we start small, and then build up the team as it grows, then it's definitely possible. And then we'll have courses for Nervos protocols that we're talking to. So basically the top 10 Nervos ecosystem projects will have their own course, and it will be constructed by our team and their team together. So we're basically executing their vision of what a course would be like for their project. So it's going to be coming directly from the source, so it'll be very high quality and accurate information. And this is what's going to scale over time, is that we're starting with Nervos because they are the ones funding this. So I think they deserve first mover advantage on these extra courses, these one-off courses that you can gain to gain extra certifications. So this will be the main certification, and then these will be bonus certifications, so that you will sort of get a proof that you understand how parts of the ecosystem work. And then that will give you more credibility in the Nervos ecosystem, which is very useful for networking, community engagement, and all sorts of business practices or career options that you might be looking for. And like I said, this is what's going to scale ultimately, is using this platform to educate people on all relevant crypto projects, all cutting edge projects. So we can see different blockchain courses coming, and we're already in the talks with other innovative blockchain courses. And that's just how it's going to grow over time. And they will all be, you can think of them as optional electives. And that's about it so far. And this is where I'm going to start building out the rest of it right now. So you're going to have a solid foundation and understanding of crypto economics. You're going to be able to explain to your peers why crypto economic design is critical to blockchain security, understand cryptography and how it works, not down. You'll understand why Bitcoin was designed the way it was. You will understand the trade-offs between proof of work and proof of stake. And you'll be able to explain how Bitcoin uses incentive design and cryptography to create new Nash equilibriums. And that's the game theory. So we want to give people mastery of the basics. So it seems like a difficult challenge to actually understand game theory and master game theory in some like small, short online course. But once we give you those primitive building blocks of how game theory works, you'll be able to combine them and put them together and create new primitives with that knowledge. So we're going to teach you how to think about game theory. And that's what would make people master game theory, because they can rationalize their way around it. You'd be able to understand papers and research on game theory and economics because of what we're going to teach you. So, like I said, that's the main syllabus. I'm going to incorporate the reading material, the supplemental material, and then building the slides that will educate people on these concepts. And we'll start with definitions. So I'm going to hyperlink it to a slide. And this is how we're going to do it. Definitions, part 1 of NU courses. Okay. Part 1. And I have a document guy, John. He's on our team. He's going to be the one who pretties up all of this stuff for me. So I'm just putting in the information, and he will add the, color and make it look more pleasing to the eyes. So the first definition is going to be blockchain, of course. And I'm just going to do the outline so that I'm not making you guys watch me find the definitions, because that will take a long time. Cryptocurrency, or digital currencies. So this will be basically all the way back to very early, like eCash designs to Bitcoin. They all qualify as digital currencies. It's basically just something that's exists on the internet and is money. And I think there's lots of different types, and it just depends on how abstract you want to think about it. So, like, for example, people use phone credits as a currency in third world countries. So you could call that a digital currency too. So that's why it's going to be more broad than the next definition, which is cryptocurrency. And this is, I am going to write this one down right now. And this is a type of digital currency that uses cryptography and incentives to secure a peer-to-peer, I don't want to say currency twice, secure peer-to-peer payment network that utilizes a native asset. Typically uses blockchain architecture. There's some cases in which a cryptocurrency doesn't actually have a blockchain, but I think that's a story for another time. I think I should probably put blockchain before that. Wait, I'm sorry, it's already there. My bad. Okay. I think, though, we should probably put cryptography before cryptocurrency. Cryptography, study of, I know I said I wasn't going to write stuff, but now I kind of want to. Sorry. I feel like I could give this multiple definitions, just like I could give blockchain multiple definitions. So I'm going to say, in the most basic sense, it's the stuff of hiding information in plain sight, how should I do this? Cryptography, because I'm trying to incorporate encryption and decryption, but those are other definitions. So related. I guess for now I'll do talk to the team about it, but I'll do related definitions. Encryption, decryption, cipher, and private keys, and public keys. Okay. See, now I need to define public key cryptography. Okay. Public key cryptography. Cryptocurrency. Peer network. See, there's going to be cryptocurrencies that do have trusted third parties. They might, some of them are probably even going to claim they don't, but they do. So I don't even know if I should say no trusted third parties, but I think I'm going to, because that is what people should be thinking about when they hear the name cryptocurrency. Because if there are trusted third parties, then it's really not a cryptocurrency. It's tough. You can say it is, but you can also say it's not. So I guess we're just gonna have to specify that. Typically, no trusted third parties. However, we will see digital currencies that use blockchain and encryption. But don't have trusted third parties. What is a trusted third party? The key. Oops. It's a trusted third party in blockchain. Or we'll just say for now in Bitcoin. Or not in Bitcoin, but a trusted third party in computer science, I guess. Or I would say like cybernetics or something, but I've been in an argument, or not an argument, but a conversation recently about how that's a made up study. Trusted third party in digital systems. Networks. Probably gonna have to define protocol as well. It's an important term, honestly. Network as well. Let's see, anything else I should get to? A distributed system, of course. Merkle trees. Proofs. All right, sorry. Let's see, proofs, Merkle trees. Let's see. I don't know how much I should be getting into, but hope I spelled that right. But I think I should have at least a few primitives, cryptographic primitives that people can understand. ZK proofs, rollups, starts. And let's see, anything else? I know there's something that it's really important and I'm missing it right now. I'll just get back to it, but it's a good start at least. It's going to be a long section, honestly. But this is going to be very obvious that you need to take notes on the definitions, because they'll definitely be in the quizzes and tests. I wish you could do like sub slides. I mean, I'd be like getting fancy and hyperlinking all this stuff to different slides, but it's not really for the public. It's just the blueprints, so it doesn't really matter. Public key cryptography, cryptocurrency. Okay, now we can get to this, because I wanted to add protocols. I feel like this is too much. I should just say computer science. Trusted third party is a intermediary between two other parties trying to exchange or communicate information / value. Trusted third parties emerged in the internet and finance / economics to basically de-risk the counter party, or de-risk self from the counterparty between you and counterparty. So trusted third party is an intermediary between two parties trying to exchange between two parties that are trying to exchange or communicate information / value. Trusted third parties emerged in the internet and finance / economics to de-risk oneself from the lack, and I'll highlight this, I'll bold this part because it's so important, to de-risk oneself from the lack of trust between you and the counterparty. And then we're going to get into it's in Jeopardy. Double spend. A double spend is when a user balance is spent twice by sending it to two different receivers or recipients at the same time before Bitcoin. I feel like I shouldn't be getting into this because this is what the courses are for. I feel like I'm like doing the courses in the definitions. But that's okay. Okay. Got a good number of definitions. Cryptography. Okay, right here we're going to do, to this, we're going to do economics. And then game theory. Nash equilibrium. I swear to God, I'm having fun. Those sighs are just deep breaths. What else do I need? Mechanism design, which is just reverse game theory. Building incentive structures to achieve a particular goal. And, you know, like I can get a bit more legit definition of game theory, but it's essentially it's basically studying, or it's just the theory of it's like, it's just I should be just Googling it, but I want to kind of have my own twist for it first. It's just behavioral. Yeah, this is a good definition. Strategic interactions, but I want to give it more than that. That's It's a great definition, but it doesn't tell you much. Study mathematical models of strategic interactions. What else there is? I think this might have something in it. Yeah, theoretical framework for conceiving social situations among competing players. I like that one too. Conceiving social situations. And the reason why game theory is in everything is because almost everything is social and economics and finance. So, all right, let's just go over it again. Blockchain protocol, this is the definitions. Network, distributed system, digital currency, cryptography, public key cryptography, and all the other ones. Economics, game theory, Nash equilibrium, mechanism design, cryptocurrency, trusted third party, double spend, Byzantine generals problem, consensus, proof. Or let's just say Nakamoto consensus for now. Let's see, public good. Utility. Medium of exchange. Store of value. Unit of account. Speculative assets. Security. I think we're getting into, the legal, financial aspect of it. Commodity. Decentralized finance. Or open finance. Extractive economies, which is those are the current models in economics and finance that extract wealth from people. And then we have inclusive, locked, open economies, which means that they're not extractive, they're inclusive, and they're locked open, which means that you have to abide by the consensus rules, but you don't have to be a part of it if you don't want to. It's an optional open system, but once you're in, you're locked into the rules, which keep it inclusive. And positive sum, which gets us to some game. I had to reorder all these, but just firing them off. Zero sum game. I actually have old slides on this stuff I could just use. Negative sum game. Positive sum game. Network effect. Oh, a Schelling point. Some game theory terms. Oh yeah, uh, moral hazard, adverse selection. See, this is going to be the best freaking course ever made. People like aren't even ready for this. Literally have 36 definitions just to get you prepped for the actual courses. This is we're about to like create geniuses at scale. It's gonna be crazy. Let's see, a win-win. Well, that is a positive sum, so I should just say win-win game. Before all this, I should have non-cooperative games. Cooperative games. And this is like a cool theory I want to include, but this is theory of reciprocal. I should call it a theory, just to be clear. Theory of reciprocal. Sorry, that was terrible. Altruism. It's an interesting theory about how people act altruistically to create like trust within smaller scale societies, and money was basically an abstraction of that, and it represents like previous work. So there's a lot of cool theories about how cooperation has helped us evolve and how humans are actually prone to cooperate. Which brings us to another definition of common knowledge, which is the basis for cooperation in game theoretic models, or say in games. That makes more sense. It's basically this infinite. Oh, I forgot the term. I have a paper for it. It's like this infinite recursion. It's an infinite recursion of each player knowing something, or both, we'll just say both, or all players knowing something, and all players knowing that all players know. So there's a different type of knowledge that isn't common knowledge. It's when both players know something, but they don't know that the other person knows it as well. Common knowledge is when you all know that everyone knows it. It's like a stop sign. I'm trusting that you actually know what a stop sign is when we're driving through an intersection. And that's how I can be assured in my head that I'm not about to get T-boned by a car. It's because that common knowledge exists. If it didn't exist, I would be more worried, and it would be harder to cooperate and scale transportation. So common knowledge is very critical to everything, just like all of these concepts are. And we're at 41. I think this should be it for now, and I'll probably have to come back to it later, but it's a good place to stop. I think 40 definitions is more than too much, but I know my students will be able to handle it because they want to save the world, and that's what we're going to do. So, boom, we just finished part one, kind of. Part two is going to be really short. Like, that's actually an easy one. Because the rest of them are actually giving you the comprehension. This is just telling you what you need to comprehend beyond just basic definitions. So I'll stop from there. So the whole syllabus is kind of here. I'll add the source material down here, and I'll start making this. Well, I'll keep the syllabus public, but the source material is kind of like, I don't know. I feel like if I just like give everything out all at once, someone's just going to take it all and just duplicate what we're doing. So, I mean, it'll be out there once we started, but I at least want to get started before I start showing like everything we have, because I have so much information that it's going to like really, really change things. So that's it for today. And I'll just probably upload this on YouTube. Sorry if I sounded tired. I am. Didn't really sleep much, but I'll stop the recording now. 1 second. I don't know how to do that. Stop recording.